Sands National Park. Don't think I've ever been here. I've driven through here, past here, but I've never been in here. Cool. So this looks like it's going to be the Dune Life Nature Trail. Please don't cut the trail. A little muddy this morning. This is the Dune Life Nature Trail. Already looks interesting just by the outside here. First time in the area, the sand looks very fine, like a super fine sand. I don't know, I guess I've felt more coarser ones, but this sand looks fine. Small micro rocks, what we'll call it. Look real quick here. You can see the contrast between the snow. Got some people here. Parking area. I need to know what that peak is right there. Not sure what that is. Take an overview of the nature trail here. Looks like it's all in this area here. We're going to talk about the plants. We'll get there in a second. So you can see these huge mounds of sand, right? But they've been built up most likely from the roots of these bushes here. Trying to figure out the name of these desert bushes. I don't know, what I like about it is it makes it look like I'll figure my words out. Here you go. Here's a good looks like the root system. Branch and root system is slowly dying away, of course, but the sand is slowly eroding. Looks like sandstone, how it comes out there. Interesting. What I'm really looking for are what's called these grasshopper mice tracks, but it might be too cold. The sand is actually packed. It feels packed. It's not like an ocean sand where your feet slip in and your toes slip in. It's more of a compact, fine sand. Found a cool yucca here. Sure, the blooms have already expired, but they look neat from a distance. Again, it's winter, end of January here. Okay, making soap from yucca plant from Junkyard Fox. Enjoy, it's about 5 minutes. There we go.
tough plant, very fibrous, but this is what we're after. The root, it doesn't look very special now, but once you rinse it off, you'll see that it's very bright white underneath, and you can already feel the moisture. So we're just gonna take this and break it down so we can use that. Okay guys, so this is the yucca root. Now what we're gonna do now is scrape off all this hard outer bark to get to the soft white innards. And the innards have a chemical called saponins, and that's what the natives in this region were using to wash themselves as shampoo, to wash their clothing. So we're gonna get to it. We just moved to a shadier area because once again, it's 102 degrees out here, and man, we are just blistering out here. So let's get to it. Let's get our knife and scrape that off. And the outer bark is pretty tough. You know, it's trying to protect itself. Not only that, but it's trying to preserve as much moisture as it can because it gets so dry out here. And we're not going to use this entire root. I think we're just going to probably just use this segment right here. I'll saw the rest off to save for future reference. And just for the sake of this video, we'll talk about, you know, we'll demonstrate on this side right here. Alright guys, well this is good enough. As you can see, it's white on the inside. Now we're just going to start pounding this down to just get those saponins out of there. So from here, we're just going to start beating this up. Now you could just, as long as you have this white stuff, you're going to be fine. So you could just cut off a chunk like this, mix it with some water, and you'll start seeing some suds. But, you know, if you want to be a little bit more efficient with it, get your money's worth, start pounding it. It is pretty hard, it's pretty fibrous. I don't know if you can catch that, but you can already start seeing some suds there. So, I mean, even if you don't have water available for you right now, there's no water source nearby, you could just use this as is. It's not going to be as effective, like regular soap, it's not going to be as effective as when you actually mix it with water. But in a pinch, it'll do. Check that out. Alright, so now this will do just fine. Now, in case you have more time on your hands, you're going to be here a lot longer, you can actually just pulverize this down to a powder. We're not going to do that, but just so you can see it working now, if you have a water source, I'm not going to use all my water, of course, I need that to stay cool out here, but you can mix this. Can check that out. So there you have it, guys, the yucca root. And you know how I was saying earlier, to pound it down to just release a lot more of the chemical, the saponins. Check this out. You can just squeeze it and it's just coming out. So I can reuse this several times. I could use it now, I could just let it dry out and then use it later, or as I said, you could just pound this down into a powder and then use it as that way as well. But really good stuff, really clean, smells good. And I'm gonna get some of this dust and some of this sweat off. That feels good. And then clean my knife as well too. So there you go, yucca root soap.
All right, about half mile into the loop here. Actually, like 0.4243. You kind of come up to this area here. Little basin amongst the dunes. Looks like there could be mice, coyotes in the area. I think it's too cold. Early morning as well. Again, about a half mile. Looks like we're undulating up and down the dunes here. Dune Life Nature Trail. Oh, there's several more people here now. So I like how the dunes make a texture here similar to the striations of sediment rock. Try to get kind of close to it and see. Look at that. The wind carves these out. Interesting, huh? Over here. Get some snow too. Oh, look at this. Wow. Ooh, nice. Wow, look at the roots on this tree. Again, the striation. Some kind of tumbleweed. Kind of looks like a lavender. This yucca bush, of course. It's gonna be a mighty yucca one day. All right, here we go. Another eroded by wind, of course. Yeah, it creates its own little gully on the bottom here. The roots probably extend all the way down, but this plant is probably on its last legs, so to speak. and but it still holds this mound here. I would think the branches are kind of protecting it from eroding right now.
My house, it takes 25 minutes to get to Cloud Cross. Here.
I find the striations here fascinating. You can even see the roots poking out right there. Looks like it was cut and then it goes up. Of course, it's being protected still by the branches here. I bet this would look neat during bloom. Summer maybe, or maybe that never has. Or it never gets leaves. I would think it does. Let's get up close here. Like miniature versions of these large mountain cliffs. Kind of cool, these paintings here. Whoever did this for the national park, I think it's impressive to have these kind of signs here showing the animal life in the desert, of course. Basically, these are all the same images that were out on the nature trail. Yeah, look at that. Cool. Down to the little mice down here. There he is. Oh wow, this guy blinded in. Roadrunner. Cool, huh? Okay, hello world, hello future self. Remember everyone, the information comes straight from the sources on the right, which are Wikipedia, which is really not really a true source, but it is a source, National Park Service and National Park Service.gov. White Sands National Park, located in southern New Mexico, preserves the world's largest gypsum dune field, 275 square miles of the Tularosa Basin. Basin is like a bathtub. Here, when I searched, it said that the Alkaline Flats was closed, unless it closed after I completed it, but I completed my Alkaline Flat Trail, which is the next video. Some information. Sometimes when there's missile testing, the highway that leads to the park gets closed, so never know when that will happen. There is a fee to get into the park. Make sure you have water and some protection. Everything is out in the open. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go zoom up to our nature trail information. Here we are. The Dune Life Nature Trail is a short 1 mile. It is family friendly. It talks about the ecotone, where the transition zone where the desert scrubland meets the gypsum sand dunes. It is widely considered the best family-friendly hike. Cool. Let's see. Take about an hour. It's real easy. It talks about some of the wildlife in the area. Animal tracking. Yes, I was looking for tracks, but since it just snowed, there weren't too many tracks. I was doing my best to find some. I wasn't able to, though. And it was windy, so I guess tracks would be windswept pretty quickly. All right, let's go through the white sand information again. And then what we're going to do is come down into the Playa Trail. The Playa Trail is a self-guided tour. This is a simple one. It's a shallow, low-lying area that temporarily fills with water. It is primarily a level, easy walk, making it suitable for families and visitors of all ages. Yeah, basically it's just the shallow playa lake, maybe analogous to what the large basin is, where you have water and then it evaporates. So something similar to that. Okay, why do they call it white sands? Due to the vast fields of gypsum sand, which appear brilliant white due to the way they reflect sunlight. Gypsum, unlike most sand, which is quartz based, these dunes are composed of 98% pure gypsum. Gypsum is a soft mineral commonly used to make drywall and plaster. Pure gypsum is actually clear. The grains look white because they constantly rub against each other, create tiny surface scratches, and then reflects the light, similar to how ice and snow appear. Cool to the touch. Gypsum is water soluble and usually dissolves and washes away to the sea. However, the part sits in the Tularosa Basin, which has no outlet to the ocean. Dissolved gypsum from the surrounding mountaintops gets trapped there, crystallizes as it evaporates, and is eventually broken down into sand by the wind. Where does the gypsum come from? Really neat, actually. It started 280 million years ago when the whole area to the Rocky Mountains, from where we're at, from the national park to the Rocky Mountains, was the Permian Ocean or Permian Sea. This sea then was uplifted over time, 70 million years ago approximately. The Earth's crust started to uplift. This uplift lifted those ancient gypsum seafloor deposits high into the air, and then it created the Andrés Mountains on the west and Sacramento on the east. As the mountains uplifted, created a bathtub basin basically, and then as rain and weather brought the gypsum from the mountaintops into the basin then filled, and with the water started to evaporate and dissolve. The gypsum had nowhere to go other than crystallize, and then as it crystallizes, the wind breaks the crystals into small sand pieces. I hope that made a little bit of sense. I find it fascinating. You would think it's snowing, but it's not. Look at this place. It's fascinating. Gonna go on a long hike, but it'll be tomorrow. Don't know if you can hear it, but the low roar of the Air Force Base off in the distance here. We're coming up to it. We're probably flying around right now and get ready to land. These are footprints. Woolly mammoth, of course. It says here, though, that the footprints appear and then they disappear, basically. Due to erosion, of course. Cool. I'd love to see these. Of course, as expected, as you get closer to the playa area, the beach, the water area, it's softer, of course. This is the water that comes off the mountain ranges from the west. It comes down and settles down in this area here.